let's talk about the Yamaha DXR10 Mark II. Now this is going to be my full review video. I already did an unboxing initial thoughts video. I might be reiterating some of those thoughts in this video. You know, some of my thoughts might have changed. That was just an initial thoughts video. So this is going to be the full review after, I suppose, about a month using it. And I've made sure to use it in a few different kinds of settings. So, for those of you that don't watch all my videos, I originally had the Yamaha DBR10, and you know, I'm not going to say it's a bad speaker, it's their entry-level speaker, and I just wanted something a little higher end, so I wound up selling those, and I wanted to get the DXR10, but I just happened to see the DXR10 Mark II was coming out in the fall, so I sold my DBRs and I just held off and waited until the Mark IIs came out. One of my things is I like compression drivers that have good, smooth, crisp sound, and one of the changes from the Mark I to the Mark II is a larger compression driver. So I knew just because that is what I like, the compression driver should be better in this speaker, so I held off and I waited. So first of all, I'm just going to say, yes, I do recommend this speaker. I think it's a good speaker. I'm trying to get that out of the way at the beginning of my videos so people don't have to wait till the end if they don't want to watch the whole thing, because some people do complain how long they get. Anyways, as with any video, I like to start out talking about the case. So first of all, this is the case that I bought for my DBR10s, and I will just say thank you, Yamaha, for making your speakers all relatively the same size and shape across your different model lines. You know, number one, that helps me because I didn't have to buy a separate case for my DBR10s. I sold the speakers, I kept the cases because I knew I was getting these, and they work perfectly. You know, there's a lot of speaker companies out there. They make a separate case for everything. You know, you buy that speaker, you got to buy that case. You sell that speaker, well, sell the cases with it, because if you're buying this, completely different case. So I will say props to Yamaha. They really are thinking about their end users and not just trying to squeeze every single penny they can out of them. Plus, I would imagine there's a manufacturing benefit. You know, you make a good case, it works across 3, maybe 4 different speaker lines. You know, you can really make these things in quantity and cut your manufacturing costs down. Anyways, this case is nice. It's unique in the fact that it's not just a case, but it is also a weather cover. So you can zip these up. These are Velcro. I never unvelcro them. I just tuck it under and pull it through. And there is a mesh front to help protect from the weather. In the back, there is also a rain flap system. Now this is also kind of my one complaint, because you'll see there is no place to keep the cord. That is because when you unvelcro this, flip that in, stick it together. Actually, I probably should have done this first. The cord pocket is on the inside, which I'm glad there is a cord pocket, because my complaint about their subwoofer cases is that there is no cord pocket. So I'm glad that they did put a cord pocket in here. So it's slightly inconvenient that it's inside, and it is very narrow and long. And for a person that likes to wrap their cords nicely in a circle, not kinking them back and forth, I do find myself having to go like that, but squish it to stick it in there. But it makes a nice rain flap. Anybody that's done a Relay for Life event, I think I've done like 6 of them, and I don't think I've done a single one where it has not rained. So, super nice. Back when I had some QSC K12s, I actually bought, you know, the standard QSC case, but they also make a second case that is, you know, similar to this, kind of a weather resistant style case. And, you know, that's the crappy thing, you know, I ended up having to buy 2 cases, where this is one dual-purpose case that, you know, just works pretty nice. I'm definitely happy with Yamaha cases. Like, that, I feel like for a lot of speaker manufacturers, cases are an afterthought. DAS Audio has some of the worst cases I've ever seen. They don't fit right. They change. If you buy them 6 months later, the case is slightly changed. I don't know if they can't find a good case manufacturer or what the deal is. I'm just going to flip this forward. So there's obviously no handles on the sides of the speaker. The top handle is here. And my one complaint, I guess, you know, I feel like if you did that, it'd be fairly weather resistant. But they did put, I mean, I really shouldn't complain about this. They did put this like drawstring cinch thing in there. I find that annoying when going to grab the handle. I end up having to, like, you know, make sure I tuck that back, kind of tuck it around so that I can just grab the handle. And half the time my fingers hit this stupid little ball and shove the ball under the handle, and it's kind of a pain in the butt. You know, that might just be complaining a little too much, you know, finding little things to nitpick. But I feel like it could be weather resistant enough without that nylon. But then again, I didn't do a rain test, so if it's more weather resistant with that little nylon cinch in there, I'm glad it's there. But that's probably my one little critique about it. So let's go ahead and take this off and actually start talking about the speaker. Alright, so I forgot to talk about this in my last one. On the bottom, there is 2 pole sockets. I don't. The back one makes the speaker go straight ahead. The front one tilts it down slightly, I think maybe like 10 degrees. That's completely a guess. I read it somewhere, I just forgot. But it creates a slight, very slight tip, not an over-exaggerated tip, just a slight one. And in the manual, they talk about the slight tip for, like, say you're on stage and you've got your speakers on stands. You know, you tip them slightly and the sound's going to go down on your crowd. I will probably do that in that situation. I have also used the tilt at probably about half the events that I've used this for so far. And specifically, like, I used it last night at the bar I was at. And I did it because there's like this dance floor area and then there's table areas. And sometimes you do bar gigs. People don't want it blaringly loud throughout the whole bar. I like to have a loud zone and a quiet zone. You know, party zone, chit-chat zone. Not everybody is there at a regular bar just to get, you know, crazy and hit the dance floor. Some people just want a few beers, chat with their friends. So I use the tip down. I put my speaker stands up as high as they could go, tipped down, and kind of created my loud zone on the dance floor. But I walked to the back and you could still hear the music. It was good listening music. So I also use it that way. The handle on the top of this. You know, I was trying to remember what the handle was like on my DBR10. I feel like it was just like an insert cup, because I think that's what it is on the Stage Pass too, little something your fingers slip into. Here it is a very solid handle. I really like this handle. I like that you can grip all the way around it. Definitely a nice handle. It's got some, I don't know if it's rubber, hard plastic, I think. But it's textured on the inside, rounded, feels good on the hand. I still complain slightly that they did XLR, dual quarter, and RCA. Now what I would personally like to see as a DJ is 2 XLR quarter-inch combo jacks and then the RCA. But I understand they did this with the musician in mind. Microphone, you know, think coffee shop, you don't want to bring a lot of gear. You got your microphone going in there. If you got a keyboard, stereo left and right, and backing tracks with your RCAs. From a musician perspective, this makes sense. From a DJ perspective, I think 2 XLR 1/4-inch combo jacks would be more usable because, say, wedding ceremony outdoors, you plug your headset mic in or lavalier into input 1, you plug a regular handheld for vows into number 2, and then you've got your music for the ceremony. I do that a lot more often than I run into a solo acoustic keyboard person. But, you know, you can plug a guitar straight into here too, I suppose. But anyways, Yamaha, obviously, they make instruments. They're more musician-oriented than they are DJ-oriented. So, not a huge complaint. It's just what would work best for me. But, you know, what would work best for me, that wouldn't necessarily work best for everybody else. So, there is D-Contour front-of-house main off monitor. So I have used this as a floor monitor. It works really well as a floor monitor. And I will say, a 10-inch floor monitor, for some people might seem small, but if you are, say, a lead singer in a band, and you're one of those lead singers where you say, I just want to hear me. All I want is my vocals. You get enough stage bleed from everything else. You just want your vocals coming at you. A 10-inch monitor is great for that because a 10-inch has really good vocal clarity, and because it doesn't hit super low, it gets rid of a lot of that mud without having to EQ it out at the soundboard. So a 10-inch monitor is a good option for somebody that, you know, really doesn't want any bass items in their monitor mix. It helps keep it nice and clear and straight in your face. Front of house main, I would say that's probably, at least from what I can tell, more of a DJ setting. I have found myself using the front of house main for all my DJ gigs, and then to kind of match up, I put the boost on the subs when I use this with a sub. But for live sound, I did an acoustic show, and I did prefer just having the D-Contour off. You know, I assume that's just generally more of a flat setting for the speaker, and for live sound, I prefer more of a blank canvas than something that's already pre-EQ'd for me. So I did find I like the off for live sound, I like front of house for DJing, and then obviously the monitor switch does the monitor low-end roll-off for ground coupling. I like that they put a high-pass filter in here, 100 Hertz, 120, but, you know, they did that for, if you're going to use this with a sub, like I've been complaining about with the Turbo Sound subs that do not have a output crossover. A lot of subs will cross themselves over at 100 Hertz, but the XLR out is a throughput that puts out a full range signal. So you can use this with any sub, even if the sub doesn't have a built-in crossover, because this does have a built-in high-pass filter. But I own Yamaha subs that do have a option for throughput or DSP post, and I always run the sub at DSP post. So I actually never use the crossover that's built in here, but I like that they added it. It makes it usable if you're using it with different brand of subs. I still wish they would have put a locking IEC in here. You know, I haven't ran into any problems where the power cord's falling out, but they do locking IECs on their subs. It'd be nice if they did locking IECs on their tops, just for consistency throughout the product line. I don't know if you can tell, but it is fall. The flies are insane in here. I put fly traps up all over last night, or yesterday morning. I have not caught a single fly. Not a single one. Anyways, locking IEC just for consistency. I personally would prefer PowerCon. I like a twist lock power cord, but locking IEC just for consistency across subs and tops. That way I just know I grab 4 blue ones, I'm out the door. I did say I didn't really like the push button power switch in the last video. I haven't ran into any issues with a push button. You know, it's not like somebody bumps into the back of your speaker and shuts it off. I still think in general, I prefer a rocker switch, but the push button's just fine. I'm getting used to it. I think it was just something I haven't owned a push button powered speaker before. It is fan cooled. You know, there are some speakers out there where people complain about the fan noise. I haven't even noticed when the fans come on, so definitely not an issue on this one, at least one that I have not seen. You know, maybe if you use these speakers for 3 years, the fan gets dirty and a lot noisier. That potentially could be, but right out of the gate, I haven't even heard the fan kick on. Now, sound quality wise, this speaker, so I'm gonna talk mostly in this review about just using this speaker by itself, like just a pair of these, no sub. I think I'm gonna do a second review video where I talk about this used with the DXS10 Mark II, which is what I personally use them with. But in this video, I'm just gonna talk about using these standalone. So, the sound quality is good. It's crisp, it's clear, it's a definite upgrade from the DBR10s. Very happy with it. Last night I did a bar dance, which was a smaller bar dance / karaoke, and I knew I wanted to record this video, so every other time I've used these I've always used a sub, but I knew it was a smaller bar, so I was like, you know what, I'm not going to bring subs with me. I want to see how these do on their own. Can you do a dance with them? And, you know, yes, they do get loud enough to do a dance with. I mean, they put out 132 dB. Like, I wasn't even pushing them hard for the venue I was in. But what they really lack is sub bass. And a lot of you are probably watching this going, duh, Brian, it's a 10-inch. But, you know, I wanted to see, you know, put it under the stress test. It really just doesn't hit a whole lot below 100. So, well, you can use it for a dance. It does get loud enough. You could do a wedding dance with it. You could do a bar dance with it. But I think you would be unhappy with the sound because it's not full enough. It's very, you know, mid-high punchy bass to, you know, good clear high end. Just doesn't have that sub bass. And, you know, at a bar dance, you don't want to be the guy where you're DJing, and, you know, it sounds okay, but it sounds like something's missing, and then all of a sudden they turn on touch tunes when you're done, and it's like, oh, there's the bass, you know. You don't want to have a system worse than the installed system, that's all I'm saying there. So, good, clean, clear sound. Very happy with the sound of this speaker. Just, I think if you're going to use it for a dance, you've got to have at least, you know, one DXS10 Mark II hidden under the table. Helps fill out the sound nice. You want a little bit more thumping sound. Do 2 of them, pole mounted, with these guys here, and I think you could do a dance up to 250 people. I'll go into the types of events in my other video that I did with using subs, and I definitely pushed them to their limit to see what their limits were. One complaint about the speaker, not a huge issue, but when you're doing an event and you've got these things pushing at maybe 80% power or 80% max volume, and you hit certain songs with some type of resonating bass frequency, there is a definite vibration back here. You know, I'm not sure exactly what it is that's vibrating. You can't hear it when you're out on the dance floor. So it's not a sound compromising issue. But when you're DJing and you're standing behind them and you hear bzz, 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 every time the bass hits, you start to go back here and you're like, is there a screw loose? Like, you know, what's going on? And the outdoor event where we were really pushing these, that vibration was really loud. And I have not owned a speaker that's had a vibration issue for a really long time. Like, I don't think I've had a vibration issue, man, since maybe my first set of speakers. And I'm not trying to compare this to Behringer. This is definitely a better speaker than a Behringer, but I want to think the last speaker I owned that had a noticeable vibration out the rear end was my Behringer B215As. You know, I bought them 11 years ago for $200 a piece, and you know, vibration issue, well, it's a $200 speaker. Here, this is definitely a more expensive speaker. I don't feel like this should have a vibration issue. I didn't notice a vibration issue with the DBR10s. Now, this is a brand new model, and I mean, my serial number is 1281, so, and I would assume they probably started at 1,000, so I probably got, I think I got 1280 and 1281 for my pair, so it's kind of cool that they're matching. Or, you know, right in sequence. But I don't know if it's because I got one of the first ones off the production line. You know, anybody that's worked in manufacturing knows when a product first starts coming down the line, there's a lot of tweaks that happen over the first couple months. And maybe this is something that is specific to mine. You know, it might be something that's going to get fixed as models go on. Maybe this is something where it's just, this is what it is, and it's going to be this way throughout the entire product cycle of the DXR10 Mark II. I don't know, but I would be much happier if there was no vibration back here. There's just something is not insulated or seated properly, or, you know, maybe there needs to be a rubber gasket somewhere and there's not. I'm not sure. Hopefully Yamaha will tweak it and fix that. It's not a deal breaker. You know, I might be making the sound worse than it really is. You know, it's just a slight vibration, but it's there. The one thing that makes me a little worried is this is a 10-inch with, you know, not super low bass response. What are the 12 and the 15 like? I don't own them. Is the vibration worse because they hit lower? You know, things I'm not sure about. Would it inhibit me from buying more in the DXR series? No. Because like I said, when you're in front of the speaker, when you're on the dance floor, you can't hear it. It's not there, but you can hear it from behind. And, you know, that could just be because, you know, in a lot of my other videos, I complain about speakers being just as loud from behind as they are in front. These are noticeably quieter in the back, which could be why you're hearing a slight vibration. But for the price you pay for these, I think, what, $7.99? $6.99. $6.99. You know, I think at like a $700 speaker, there really shouldn't be any vibrations. But like I said, maybe Yamaha will fix it. But that is my one complaint. Not a deal breaker, just something to be aware of. Anyways, good, clear sound. Oh, I don't know if I went over what I would use these for. So, I would not use them for any type of dance, but corporate audio, anything with speech, a 10-inch is great for speech. You know, if you're doing a wedding ceremony, a corporate event, talking heads, a groundbreaking, perfect for that. Anything with talking. And then on the other end, background music, cocktail hour, dinner, ceremony music, anything where you're looking for nice, clear audio without a low-end thump. These are perfect for that because they project nicely, good, clear sound, just not a whole lot of bass. So if you're going to do a dance with these, I would recommend coupling them with a subwoofer. But yeah, any questions, throw them down in the comments section. Until next time, have a good day. And I'm back once again. I find myself adding on a lot at the end of my videos because I always forget like one thing that I think is important. And I used to just jot it in the video details, but I don't know how many people actually read the video details. So I just wanted to point out, I said these are really good for speech. And the nice thing about having the high pass filter switch on the top cabinet is if I'm doing something simple where I'm bringing two of these, I just want to plug a wireless microphone or a wired mic right in and just daisy chain the two speakers together. One thing you can do to really cut out that low end rumble is just flip the high pass filter on. Maybe start out at 100, see how that is. If you still get a little bit too much muddiness in the microphone, flip it up to 120, and it's going to make a huge difference in the clarity of your audio. Now these don't go super low to begin with, so it's not as big of an issue, but it's still going to help out. It's going to help out filter out all that mud, and you don't need an external mixer to do it. But anyways, that's my little end of video add-in. See you next time.